What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In my next series of videos, I'm going to be showing you how you can build this collapsible camp chair and a collapsible folding stool that you can take with you on your next adventure or your next fishing trip. And if your little pards come along, this is a stool that we're going to be building. I'm going to show you how to build these, and it holds pretty good weight because I can sit on it myself. So I weigh about 198 pounds these days, so I sit on it no problem. So this right here can also be for your little fishing buddy or your hunting buddy, whichever you decide is the best. If there's any interest after that, if you post down and below in the comments and let me know, I'll also show you how to build this folding table that you can also take with you. Any of these can be easily folded and collapsed, however you want to do it. Carrying handle, you name it, you can do it. It's real easy. It's DIY. All this was done with pallets. I'll probably go back later and build a few out of cedar. Thanks for watching.
After a recent storm and a dead pine tree took down part of my old barn, I decided to salvage some of the solid boards for a shop add-on, and I also picked up a lot of the leftover broken pieces for some possible future projects. Using an old book that I found called Outdoor Furniture and a few other ideas I had seen online, I drew up several templates to get the angles right for the runners and to cut out all the slats in case I ever decided I wanted to build more than one.
So after tracing my templates, I clamped the board to the table and I cut on the outside of the line using a jigsaw. The wood had been in the roof part of the barn for so long that it seemed like it had become almost petrified. So for the seat runner, I decided to use some newer reclaimed wood that I recently picked up at a job site, and my jigsaw sure did appreciate that. Smooth as butter. After cutting all four of the runners, I move the belt sander outside and I start shaping them, sneaking up on my lines, and occasionally I like to put them down and check to make sure that they all match. This will come in real handy on down the line when I try to sit level in the chair and after they're all put together. Now moving to the miter saw, I cut the lengths of some of the reclaimed pallet slats to the lengths that I'll need. In this case I needed one at 20 inches long for the top piece of the backrest, two at 20 inches long for the two pinch points, and 11 20 inches long for the slats. Moving on with the table saw, I ripped the two pinch point pieces to 2.5 inches wide, and all of the slats are ripped to 2 inches wide, and then for the top of the backrest, I just leave it at 4 inches wide. Now on the bandsaw, I just cut out the shape for the top piece of the backrest. Then on the drill press, I drill two 1-inch holes for the carrying handle using a Forstner bit. Then with the jigsaw, I just connect the holes. Using my router, I round over the front and back of the top piece only on the top edges and the handle hole on both sides, leaving the back, the sides, and the bottom flat. I only round over the outer facing edges of all of the slats and the two pinch point boards. If you don't have a palm router or you're not familiar with using one, you can also just sand this over with an orbital sander or sand it by hand if you prefer. It'll just take a little longer. But once I get all the edges rounded over, I did do a lot of sanding off camera just to get them ready for some stain. So once the sanding is complete, I stain all the boards front and back. And it's then when I realized I forgot to drill the countersink holes for my screws.
no.
So back to the drill press. Using my Craig quick flip, I just drill a countersunk hole in the end of every slat, and then 2 in each end of the pinch points and the top of the backrest. During assembly, I used the fence on my table saw as a guide and a 13.5-inch 2x4 spacers in between the runners. I placed a 1/4-inch thick spacer at the fence to mount the first slat of the seat with an 1 3/4-inch overhang on each end and secured in place with screws and tight bond 3 wood glue. Moving on, I use a 5/8-inch thick spacer to install the rest of the slats on the seat. I remove my 13.5-inch 2x4 spacer down the legs as I go. Then I just continue on and install all 6 slats of the seat. Now with the seat coming to an end, I turn over to the backrest, which is the tricky part. I clamp 2 flat pieces of scrap wood to the fence so the runners will have something to solid touch to and to butt up against, so I can ensure that I get them both even. Now I butt the top piece of the backrest to the flat boards, check square and secured in place. The backrest boards are mounted using the 5/8-inch thick spacer, and all of the boards are flush to the outside of the runners. Once you get the top of the backrest in place, it's pretty much easy from there, but getting that top piece to start with is a little bit difficult. I didn't cut 2x4 spacers for the backrest, but I probably should have. If you would like to, they should be 17 inches long to cut, and then put them in between there, and you could clamp to that to keep holding it in place. So moving down the legs with the 5/8 spacer in place, I finally installed the final 5 slats of the backrest. For the pinch point boards on the front side of the backrest, I mounted it 7 3/4 inches from the last slat. I put screws in one end and then kind of checked for square, and then went to the other end to make sure it lined up. Then I just flipped the backrest over, and I measured down 18 1/4 inches from the top of the runner, and using wood glue and screws, I check for square, and then I mount the final pinch point board. I did go back later and stain the screw holes, and even put 3 coats of poly on it. I like it so much, I'll definitely be building a few more of these in the future. They just have a really nice look that I enjoy a lot. And that is it. The chair is complete. Thank you so much for watching this video. And in the next episode, I will show you how I built the small collapsible stool you saw at the beginning of the video. So be sure to stop back by for that. Also, as a reminder, if you're interested in how I built the folding table, let me know in the comments below, and I'll post a video on how I built it as well. Please remember to like and subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you on the next one.